a discipline specific, we go to all-around development. So muna ay yung purpose, no? That's why karon holistic ang development sa atong mga estudyante rather than focus on just one area of discipline. And from institutional learning, we go to a lifelong learning. So inana ang context ni OBE. It more gives the student a holistic development rather than focusing only on a specific discipline, even if it's institutional learning, but all lifelong learning. So we focus on the holistic development of the student, that really focusing on the center of the student. Okay, so COBE, what is this major steps for implementing outcomes-based education? No? So ako naman na-mention na ganina na anatay as we create our curriculum, no, natong curriculum development natin pang submit na nata dito PO, etc. So as a checklist, what's the major steps? Step 1, everybody have already, I think each program have already its program educational objective. This is already checked. No? Everybody, tanan nato program from the undergrad to graduate school, I think have already their program educational objective. That's the first step. No? Each program should have at least 1 to 3 PEOs that is aligned to the needs basically or of the career, the future of the career of the students when they graduate 3 to 5 years after graduation. Number 2, establish program educational program outcomes for the degree program. So each program now has its own POs. So na naman na sa ato karon nalagay na sa atong mga syllabus nakabutang dito nga this was already approved by the board, each program. Number 3, check na po itong 1, check ang number 2, check ang number 3. Now number 3, establish learning process. So what is this? We develop our outcomes-based teaching and learning. That's why we apply CDIO, etc. All those things that gives activities for a student focusing on learning for that particular outcome. And that particular outcome in support to your PO is we develop the course outcomes for each subject. So kada courses nato kanang atong mga subject nga gi-offer sa atong program, or we call it courses in our offered in our program, natay ginabutang nga course outcomes in our syllabus. So this is already checked. Okay? Number 4, frame curriculum to achieve POs and POs. That's why we have curriculum mapping. Remember, we already developed the curriculum mapping. We have the IED, that's what we have before. Natay mga introductory, enabling, as a demonstrative courses. This is already checked. We already have this. No? So 1, 2, 3, 4 is already checked that we have on in our program. Number 5, assess and evaluate objectives and outcomes. So maybe some of us may not have this assessment yet, an evaluation of the objective and outcomes. No? Kumbaga, nata course outcomes, we have program outcomes, we have PEOs, but how do we assess these things? How do we evaluate these objectives and outcomes? So that is things that we need to think of it. No? Number 6, use results of evaluation to adjust the courses or even the curriculum or even the system to improve the quality of education. No? And number 7, we go periodically to number 1. So asa di ay si CQI mosulod? Si CQI is 5, 6, and 7. Okay? So we feel focused today, since we are already done with 1, 2, 3, and 4. What we are going to focus today is on number 5, number 6. Basically number 5 and number 6, because 1 is and number 7 is we go back to 1 when we establish already what is the result of evaluation. So today we will develop our CQI plan. How do we assess, how do we evaluate our objectives and outcomes? No? And number 6, mo man atong CQI, use the result. So we will not have this yet because mo man atong next step dayon nga when after evaluating, assessing the outcomes, then atong i-evaluate. But we need to have a plan. When do we evaluate? When do we assess? Kana siya. And who will assess? Who will evaluate? So maybe That's the thing that we need to think about it. Okay, si chairman lang ba ang mag-evaluate? Si program head lang ba ang mag-evaluate? No, basig, no? Kinsa ba ang magkuha sa data, no? Asa ta magkuha og data for our assessment and evaluation? Those are the things that we need to put in our plan. Okay? So, balik ko na ako, 1, 2, 3, and 4 is done already, I presume. But 5, 6, we need to plan this out. We need to create these things. We need to create a plan for this. Because again, our students are already, for the new curriculum, are already in its 3rd year. And next year, they will be graduating from the program. And we might see that when we evaluate, maatay na miss unya nga data nga wala ito nakuha sa atong mga estudyante. So that's important thing. So we need to create a plan for this. Okay? So as defined, no, when we say PEOs, these are broad statement that describes what graduates are expected to achieve in their professional and career practice 3 to 5 years after graduation. So we should be clear about that PEOs, no, are achieved by the student 3 to 5 years after graduation. So this is so dapat mag-clear because when we evaluate, mutanan ka, sir, karon sa ta mag-evaluate sa PEOs, after ba mo graduate sila dili paano klaro man nga 3 to 5 years after graduation dito ta mag-evaluate sa atong PO sa atong graduate sa nato kung na-achieve ba niya atong program educational objective. Program outcomes specify what students are expected to know and be able to do by the time of graduation. It's clear by the time of graduation, no? POs, diyan mo siya ma-measure of the time of graduation. Now, this relates to the skills, knowledge, and behavior attitude that students have acquired and develop as they go through the program, as referenced by the Chancellors 37 of 2012. And the course outcomes is the skills and attributes of the student after finishing the course. So, claro, no? The difference between the three, POs 3 to 5 years, program outcome after graduation, and the course outcomes after finishing the course. Okay? Now, other terms, when we say OBTL, outcomes-based teaching and learning, it is a constructive alignment of intended learning outcomes. So meaning, last time nag-discuss about balik-balik constructive alignment between your learning outcome or course outcomes, what is your appropriate assessment tools, and what is your teaching and learning activities that is aligned to this three. No? So, ito nang ibalik-balik last time. And we say curriculum map is already a matrix relating to all courses. So, mo itong game mga matrix sa una na natay IED, introductory, enabling, and demonstrative. So, helpful kito siya karon nga time because that is guide to us when we create our plan. No? So, it lists the program curriculum with one or more of the declared program outcomes. So, meaning the alignment between your courses and your program outcome. Dito na sa klaro sa atong curriculum mapping. Okay? So, this is the OBE framework that we have for our university. As you can see, no? Naadiya klaro, no? It's our inputs are, as we develop our PEOs, our inputs are coming from our stakeholders. No? From our industry and alumni, faculty, students, institutional mission vision, the PRC and CHED, and even accreditation bodies. These are inputs as we create our program educational objectives. That's why we have now three or two program educational objectives per program. Okay? The program outcomes then, or student outcomes, as we know, katong sa CHED na sa unang definition, but we call it now the program outcomes, is now in line with your program educational objectives. And to support your PEOs, we have the course outcomes in the program, in its courses. It is supported again by outcomes-based teaching and learning activities. Now, we notice that each part of this sa program educational objective, nakakadiya assessment, evaluation, and data analysis. That is where the CQI will came from, where we take place. No? Nakakadiya PEOs, nakaka-assessment, evaluation, data analysis. That's why yung giingon nga as mura na siya will gatuyok, no? Every time we do this, we assess, we evaluate, we data analyze, no? Gasaka ni siya for continuous improvement. Kung ang purpose nga na siya nga will. Every time we have to periodically we need to assess, evaluate, and data analyze for our program to have a quality, meaning continuous improvement. Kasaka na siya. Wala na siya ga-drop. Kasaka na siya every time we flow. And each program outcomes pod napog ka di assessment, evaluation, and data analysis, including in the course level, assessment, evaluation, and data analysis. So naa di tulo ka stage when we do the CQI in our OBE framework, no? Na diri assessment, evaluation sa atong program educational objective, in our program outcomes, and in our course outcomes. Okay? So therefore, now maghimo ta ani plan when, what, how, when, and how we're going to assess and evaluate these 3 stages for continuous improvement. Okay? So because if we will not do this, mawala ni CQI, wala na ang system, no? Maputol man siya. Naalan ta aning uban pero wala na to siya gipadayon ang CQI na. Okay, so what is CQI as defined? As defined by Chancellors Mo 37 of 2012, it is a periodic feedback mechanism. It's clear, no? Periodic means there is already balik-balik siya na siya time frame. No? Feedback mechanism for changing any aspect of a program whereby formal results from assessment and evaluation and other informal observations are utilized in formulation of the changes with expected higher degree of attainment of program educational objectives and student outcomes or program outcomes. So periodic feedback evaluation for the purpose of ingin pa niya diri, attaining, no, expect higher degrees of attaining the program educational objective and student outcome. So meaning for the purpose of improving quality. No? So ano yung purpose ni CQI? So dapat na si CQI every time in each stages. Okay? So when we develop CQI, when we create our CQI plan, what is the things that we need to have? No? Una, I think some of us have already their performance indicators. No? Us in the College of Engineering have already developed our program, performance indicators in each program. I'm sure some of us already have already the performance indicators. Then what is the assessment that we need to do? Muna atong hunahon karon, and how do we evaluate? So these things are need to be in place. So, and lastly, after these things, we need to revise the curriculum system based on the evaluation of the POs and POs. So ana ang yung proseso sa CQI. So una nandi ay gikan sa akong mga program outcomes or program educational objective or course outcome, unsa nga mga indicator do I say ma-hit sa estudyante ang performance ani nga particular outcome. So what is this performance indicator? What would be my assessment? How do I assess these things? No? And how do I evaluate? And after these things, I need to revise the courses or even the curriculum or the system based on the evaluation result. So ana ang iyang flow, tuyok siya balik periodically as defined. Okay. What is this performance indicators? PIs. No? So si PI, there are 2 essential parts. The first part is an action verb. So the same as sa mga outcome. No? It is an action verb based on the Bloom's taxonomy. So expert na kita ani, master na kita paghimo ana kay nanata atong maghimo na to sa unang mga course outcome, program outcome, etc. And the thing is, ang next part niya is a content reference. So meaning depende siya sa program kung asa nga particular area, kung sa nga particular nga skill. Ayan gikuan. So content reference. Later on, I will have an example of this. And it should basically follow the SMART criteria: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Clear na siya. Same as our different outcomes. And it should be 3 to 4 PIs per program outcome or program educational objective. Okay? So it follows the Bloom's taxonomy. Baliko na ako, no? Muna atong Bloom's taxonomy. From remembering the lower, understanding, application, analysis, evaluation, and creation. The highest one is creation. No? Na naman taan ni copy pa sa una. And here are some of the verb that we can use in our each mga stages katong sa higher teaching skills, no? From remembering to creation. So for the past webinars, we will be showing this one. Balik-balik na niya itong Bloom's taxonomy. Maybe maybe sa aton uban daghan na kitaan niya ang mga verb, no? So this is just a guide, a review lang. So example sa performance indicator. Example, if I have a PO or program outcomes, that is example, ability to communicate effectively. So what would be my indicator? This is in reference to tinuod ni siya from Iowa State University of Chemical and Biological Engineering Program. Yung sa dito, ang iya ko ng performance indicator when it comes to communicating effectively is that they can produce effective written communication, meaning makasulat sila. Number 2, produce effective oral communication. Number 3, adapt their presentation style and content to match the audience. So, tulo. No? So, inyo po depende sa program na application. Okay, so it's clear nga verb, they can produce, they adapt. Okay, another example is this PO for knowledge of contemporary issues. Okay, so muna yung mga common sa ato, di ba? Katong communication skills of contemporary issues. Okay, number 1, they need to identify and analyze current social, economic, political, environmental issues. So it's clear na, no? Recognize the impact of technology on local, national, and international issues. Again, this is from Iowa State University. So example po sa PEO. Kani siya isa electrical engineering na siya nga program sa ako no? Na program. So if I have a PEO that I said that the graduates are industry competent electrical practitioners. That is the vision of the program, that the students will attain 3 to 5 years after graduation. So how do I know if they attain this one? So una, that my graduates are employed as electrical engineers holding position identified as by multinational industry as key technical rules. Number 2, graduates are employed as electrical engineers managing electrical projects in multinational industries. So muna na ako i-trace karon sa akong mga graduate dito sa industry kung naaba sila ani. Okay? Graduates are able to launch their own electrical engineering firm. So that is just an example of it. So later on, when I assess this, when I evaluate this one, tanaw na ako, naaba ni, na-achieve sa akong mga estudyante 3 to 5 years after graduation. So ano ang purpose. So for that naa siya indicators. Okay? So after those indicators, naka-indicators sa imong HPOs, PEOs, even sa imong course, no? Assessment na dayon ka. These are one or more process that identify, collect, analyze, and report the data. So in assessment, we need to identify, collect, analyze, and report data. So data atong kailangan when we assess. That can be used to evaluate the achievement of the program educational objectives and the program outcomes. So effective assessment uses relevant direct, indirect, quantitative, and qualitative measures. So daghan naman na siya. Akong later on na may example ani, no? As appropriate to the objective of or the outcomes being measured. So appropriate sampling methods may be used as part of the assessment process. So this is defined in the Chancellors 37 of 2012. So si assessment ay importante, no? So meaning we need to collect data. We need to have data to be assessed. No? So unsa ni nga mga assessment nga kuan, mga methodology na kay gigon direct, indirect, methods, no? Qualitative measures. So, sample assessment, program level design. So, example, na ako ani POs, program outcomes, performance indicator na ako. Okay? So, after I have my program in performance indicators, I look at my curriculum map. Nga naman, in my curriculum map, kung tanongin ko, asan ako makuha ng mga indicator na ako? Usually, data are gathered on the course target as demonstrative B in the map. Okay? So, guide din ako si curriculum map. Nga naman, kasi mga D nga mga subject, dito na ako makita si performance indicator. And those D's, demonstrative na ako nga courses, na naasa kong curriculum map are more what we call my K course or the terminal course that I have. And in that, I put in what are those assessment tools that I'm going to get, no, from each courses and offers akong program. And also, na din ko target. So later on ako ani nga template for us to build in. So muna giyon na ganina, si curriculum map will guide us, no? Asa na to makita si nasa asa na to ma-measure, asa na to ma-assess si kani nga mga indicators, because that will point at us asa nga subject, asa nga course sa atong program nato siya makita. Okay? So these are some assessment tools and methods to consider. So kapag yung sa ganina nga mga naay mga indirect, direct ng mga assessment. Example ani is aning alumni survey. So example katong akong mga program educational objective. So this is very useful. Maingon ko nga katong graduates are employed as electrical engineers having roles, no? Managing projects. So kana siya. So I can have this data from my alumni survey. These are indirect assessment. Surveying program alumni can provide information about the program satisfaction. Another also can be the course project or the course or capstone project of the program. Ato mga thesis sa ato mga estudyante. These are direct na assessment na kung ano ito makuha sa atong program, no? Even the result of the licensure exam, the board exam result can be a direct assessment nga data nga atong magather. These are standard tests are developed by outside professional organizations. Competitions, external reviewers score, judge, and performance work of the student. If our students have already participated in different competitions, these are direct assessment. Course evaluation survey. So a survey, no, natong ibutang sa atong course. It can be an indirect. So these are some. Embedded techniques, embedded assessment techniques utilize existing students' coursework as both grading instrument as well as graded assessment. So these are direct. Employer survey, somewhat kato ganina is alumni. Napunta survey sa atong mga employers, sa atong mga graduates. This can be a indirect. Entrance and exit interviews, no, for our student. These are direct. Exit exam or comprehensive exam, no? Example ana karon kanang gina-propose sa ato ang kuan nga LCRP, Learning Continuity Review Program, wherein every time a student exits a particular level, example, pag human ako first year, mag-take din kong LCRP. The purpose is to see that really does the student have already achieved that particular outcome nga giset nimo atong particular nga level, no? So that's the purpose of the LCRP. So muna example na karon when I exit the second year, ma-measure na sa program, tanaw na sa program, it's an input for our CQI actually, no, ang atong LCRP. Mahuman kog third year, the more if I finish my fourth year, no, I can see that whether really the outcomes that I set is already met based on the LCRP. That's it as example of an assessment mechanism or method that we can do for our program. No, Example na siya aning mga exit exam or comprehensive exam test. No, those are LCRTs. Another mga tools that can be is the focus groups, GD, discussions, the graduate survey, no, assessment of students' overall satisfaction, institutional data, review of both program students that collect institution level, local development tests, and maybe maps and traces, grid frost, etc. So these are some of the examples, no, for the program. And even observations. So these are informations that can be collected while observing events, etc. in the class, etc. No? Performance of the students can be evaluated in the campus. Portfolio, no? Some kani siya is gamit siya pag evaluate sa estudyante sa atong program, no? Mag-gather kag portfolio sa mga student. So you collect it as one portfolio, then later on when you assess, when you evaluate, that is useful, no? That is our direct pre-post test, typical exam at the beginning, at the end. These are also direct assessment, and reflective essays. So these are direct or indirect assessment. Then rubrics, no? Balik na to ng rubrics. Si rubrics is important when we evaluate, no? These are direct nga assessment and evaluation method. So rubrics, standard test, so the quizzes, test exam, even SWOT analysis. No, sa atong program, we can do the SWOT analysis, the strength, weaknesses of the program, the courses, as we gather the data, to evaluate, and syllabus review. On. Okay, so those are the things nga sa program ka level. Now, sa ato pong course level, muna itong pwede po ta mag-portfolio, pwede po ta muna mataling ginahimo permanente, no? Activities, practical exercise, logbook and journals, simulations, role play, even our assignment can be a data, as assessment data, dissertation, projects, case studies, response questions, professional discussions, oral presentations, exams, tests, quizzes, etc. that we have to be doing in our class. That is in a course level assessment and design. Okay, so after assessing na mga assessment ng mga result na etc., ang next thing to do is evaluation. So one or more as defined, one or more process for interpreting the data and evidences. So after gathering, na-assess na nimo to, naka-assessment to, so gigamit, nakuha to ni mga data, ang next thing is you need to interpret atong result. So whether na-attain ba sa student ang imong giingon nga program outcome o PEOs or course. No? So accumulated through the assessment process, and evaluation determines the extent to which the program, educational objective, and program outcomes are being evaluated, achieved. So, nga naman, because we need, after this, kung ano mga assessment data, then you evaluate, imo nang tanawon kung na-hit ba sa target, no? Nabay target, kaya naman the target at i-set for each program. Ito pare kaninang example, no? So, nakay target, so na-hit ba siya based sa imong evaluation. So evaluation leads to decisions and actions. So dili pwede nga after nimo nakita nga oy wala man na-hit or man, so dili pwede nga mo stop na kadiha. So the next thing to do is you need to have a decision and what are the actions that should be taken. Whether sa gito, ako i-change akong curriculum, ako i-change akong syllabus, ang akong activities, etc. sa katong particular sa program. No? Or basig moingon ko nga taas ra kaayo akong program outcomes, medyo or lower ra kaayo akong program outcomes, and then ubos ra kaayo mo nga taas kaayo ang rating sa estudyante. So saka na pud nimo, because the purpose of the CQI is for quality improvement man. So dili man ta pwede nga wala ti action nga buhaton. So after mo makita nga inani ang iyang result, so there should be an action that should be done. So in evaluation process, inani day. So number one, you conduct an evaluation meeting composed of the key people of the program. So dili pwede nga sa chairman ra ang mag-evaluate, no? The chairman ra tanan naa kay committee or meeting for the key persons of the program. In the evaluation, we evaluate the attainment of the performance indicators in relation to with the number of students who manifested satisfactory and above satisfactory performance, and even the performance targets. Naman kay targets later on, no? May mga set per program. And conclude if the program educational objective or the program outcomes have been achieved based on the performance in the performance indicator. Okay? So, depende na karon is to decide what are the actions that can be taken. So, and recommend, number 4, recommend ways to improve the performance in the next cycle. So, after ana day, imo na siyang ilabay sa next cycle. So, here are some examples of improvements. No? So, example, change the material or textbook presentation materials. So, start. So, emphasize certain topics, change the syllabus. No, pagsamkit ano nga ang syllabus nga gigamit dili siya kaayo paan, so truhon more exercises ano siya, or change assessment ang gigamit, assessment tools, change even the teaching and learning activities nga gi-provide, add experiment for a particular sa course nga level ni siya, and even buy equipment, no, basin ni ay kuan, or katong ingon nako gaganina nga even change the verb of your program outcomes. Kay basig ang imong nabutong nga program outcome dito ubos ra kaayo nga mingon ra ka nga dito nga the students are be able to discuss only or be able to communicate. Ana lang ang imong level, so dili dito sa higher thinking skills. So no, or taas ra pag kaayo ang imong ipangayo sa estudyante. So depende na siya karon sa results sa evaluation. Okay? So, now, in order to have a continuous quality improvement, ang last nga ngayon, yung kanina nga, there should be an action, a decision. So, therefore, there should be implementation of the recommendations. Later on, mga i-recommend, dapat i-implement, and proper documentation. So, balik na po ka. I-document na po di mo tanan, assessment, kung ano po di mo mga data, etc. So, kana ang kuan, so tuyok na siya, so revise the course, curriculum, and even the system. Okay, so in program assessment and evaluation plan, yan ra day ang iyang step. So after you have the POs and TOs, unsay ato i-create sunod? We create the performance indicators, PIs. So maybe some of us have already their PIs. Like sa amo sa electric, sa engineering na aming mga PIs na nga nagabutang. If naa na yung mga PIs na to, ato siguro i-review. No? Kasi dili siya updated ang atong mga PIs. Then, after identifying the PIs, identify lang taon sa itong mga key courses. Asa nato niya siya makitaan nga guide nga kani sa mga key courses. Ato ta sa atong curriculum map. Check our curriculum mapping. No? That curriculum map will guide us unsa ning mga key courses. Usually katong mga nakadili to demonstrative, those are the key courses nga makita natin ng mga indicators nga atong gibutang dito sa atong EO, sa atong curriculum. After identifying the key courses, so unsa day nga mga assessment methods nga makaingon din ka nga ma-measure ni siya nga mga indicators, no? So sa each key course, unsa nga mga assessment methods, and ato din asa din schedule assessment, no? So the assessments nga method nga karon kani nga subject diri ko mag-evaluate sa kani nga indicator. So unsa nga assessment method, then kanus man siya mahitabo. So dapat clear na siya, no? Laban ni sa third year, second sem, third year, first sem. Okay? Unsa nga siya nga third year, first sem, din unsa nga school year. Kay basig niya dito na kuan nilabay na, no? Kana siya unsa nga school year. And after that, how do I evaluate? After getting the data, how do I evaluate? So muna na magbutan na ka og evaluation methods. What are the evaluation methods that I will put in to evaluate this program outcome or the POs? And in order for you to evaluate, dapat na kay performance targets. So dapat imo man ang ma-compare. So mo set kag mga targets for this particular nga mga indicators nimo. So performance targets, and then ang imong iset na yun, kanos amang ka mag-evaluate. No? Every time ba nga makagather ka og data, mag-evaluate na ka diretso? Depende man siguro, no? Every time ba nga na ako'y makuha nga data, evaluate na ako diretso. So kana siya, I need to decide sa program. So when to evaluate, when do I get the assessment, when to assess, and when do I get the assessment. So kana siya ang akuan. So again, this is a periodic nga gakaitabo sa each program, and it should be clear. No? And lastly, before malimtan, kinsa ang mga responsible persons. No, basig malimtan kung maingon nga si kon man nito. So that's why it should be clear nga who are the responsibilities of this. No? May ka subject sa sa electrical. Dito na ako kaon kang electrical circuits 1. So kinsa di maestro adto. So dapat klaro na siya sa iya nga siya kuhaan siya data. So who are the responsible persons sa kaning plan. Okay, sa course level pod, no, kato siya sa program level, no? Maybe you can disseminate this to your kuan sa inyong mga teachers, sa inyong kuan kauban, no? Course assessment evaluation plan. So naa kay mga COs karon. Then naa na po ta ILOs, di ba, sa ato ang syllabus. So these course outcomes kani si ILOs mura ni katong mga performance indicators sa atong kuan program. And naa na po ni assessment method nato dito. Schedule kabaluta ko when do we have this assessment? Every ikapila mga week, every 5th week, 3rd week, etc. Evaluation na yun ang sundan. How ang wala lang ani sa kada teacher lugar sa ako lugar sa tulo ko subject, how do I evaluate? Kaya dili ra man ta munong sa assessment. Then grado na dayon ta. Ang ako man god is how do I evaluate whether na-achieve ba akong giset nga mga targets, no? Ana po ko performance targets and evaluation period, no? When do I evaluate? Na syempre, if per course siya, every time we finish the course, mag-evaluate ta dapat, no? So then responsibility definitely is the teacher nga involved sa kaninga particular subject. So usually manggod sa ato when we do this sa atong subject, tama lang ta assessment, then we grade the student, etc. Wala na ta nag-evaluate whether ang atong giset nga course outcomes na-attain ba siya sa estudyante tanan sa atong subject. So kada nga part ang wala siya nga na-emphasize, no? So na pa din next step ana na magbalik-balik ramang gud na siya pagka next sem na pod kanina po nga subject katurog gyapon nga course outcomes, wala yung nag-evaluate whether these course outcomes are really attained by the student after finishing the course. Okay, basig niya wala na attain, no? Or ubos ra kay ito course outcome. So kana siya nga part kaning evaluation of performance target nimo mo'y wala sa ato each course. Okay? So maghatag ko example for my for the course, no? Ako sa i-share. Okay, is this seen by everybody? So this is the template, no? Nga atong example kani siya sa amo sa electrical engineering. This is not final for my program, ha. Kay ako ra man ang nag-create dayon ani, ako man siya ikuan sa akong mga faculty tanan, no? It's not yet kuan. So as you can see in the template, ipada ko gamay. You have the PO for this is for the PO, ha. PO code 1 2 3 raman to amo katulo raman 1 2 3. Then the PO statement na naman ta ani each program. PO na ko nga statement imunay ko sa number 1, the graduates are industry competent electrical practitioners. The graduates are significant, mga broad statement maning PO. And number 3 is graduates are thought leaders and kana. So how do I measure this? So dapat na ako yung mga indicators. So muna yung nako indicators. No? Example, number 1, graduates are employed as electrical engineer holding positions. So, mali akong tan-awon rin sa akong graduates. Then, managing electrical projects, even launch their electrical engineering firm. So, muna akong gina-check. So, assessment methods. So, example lang niya. So, assessment 1, 2, 3. So, at least na ako 2 or 3. So, tracer study. That can be a assessment methods and survey. Yan siya. So, and there is isa is list of registered business at SEC. Ito ako mga data na kailangan. Then, academic year when the assessment methods to be implemented or kung saan ako siya makuha. So, usang academic year na siya. So, yung naman ko 3 to 5 years after graduation, may graduate ako sa 2021. So, basig mga 2023 to 2024, makakuha na ko data. Kani siya. So, kani nga year ang gibutang. Okay? Then, evaluation. How do I evaluate the method? So, I can have this ang pinaka-main ani is kaning rubrics. No? Usually, the rubrics. Okay? So, mag-create ko og rubrics in order for me to evaluate that particular indicator. Dinadayin ko standard nag-set. Ingunahin ko, 70% of the graduates are being employed as electrical engineers with key technical course. Tanaw nila na ako kung na-achieve ang 70%. Okay? So, responsibility na yun. Siyempre, si department chair, mga ili tabang kang alumni nga, the industrial relation or the career center regarding ani nga area. Okay? So, kaning sumpay dire, mga block, wala ning gamiton sa inyong grupo nga pag-evaluate. Diga may yung kadire nga wala na-achieve. Then, recommendations. Okay? So, kana ang iyang mga statement. So, this is just an example. Na lahi po na sa number 2 nga PI. So, kana, then, unsa nga year or unsa nga academic year na may implement. Then, survey or rubrics. Later on, na sample ani from other school nga na sila gi-create nga rubrics for each outcomes. So, na-adding ka standard, target, etc. Now, that is for PEOs. Ang kuha nato dayon is kaning sa program outcomes. Mo ning daghan kaayo. No, for electrical engineering like sa among sa programs electrical, we have letter A to N. So N tama ng among POs. So each POs, ingon ko, should have 3 to 4 performance indicators. So that's why letter A, may yung kani apply knowledge of mathematics, may akong PO number letter A. Tinanan ko indicator. Indicator ang ability to use advanced engineering mathematics to solve electrical engineering problems. Solve basic power system problems using knowledge of mathematics. Solve power flow and fault problems using. So, as you can see in the statements, naka-inline na sa akong mga key course na ana diri sa akong program. Sample, Engineering Mathematics for EE, mo na akong key course. Power Systems Analysis 1, then Power System Analysis 2. So, unsa nga mga assessment methods nga akong makuha na? Written exam, the quizzes, even the performance innovative task. Wala akong paon nga mga kuan. So, diya. Then, kanina sa number, sa kaduha nga PI, written exam, simulations results, okay, and performance innovative tasks, written exam, simulations, performance innovative tasks. When? So, when is this? So, tanaw na wala ko sa curriculum, karon sa nag-i-offer. So, karon actually, dapat magkuha na kong data ani, no? 2020 to 2021. Kani siya nga mga data kuhaon. Kani siya is 2021 to 2022. Academic year. So, next year na ni. So, for this year, kaning subject nga Engineering Mathematics for EE, nag-i-offer karon, magkuha na ko data about sa iyang written exam, quizzes, at saka performance innovative tasks for me to assess this particular. Then, evaluation, naapog ko ana dapat, student portfolio, meaning kuan sa mga estudyante, focus group discussion, and even rubrics. How to evaluate. Standard din ako, 90% of the student have a rating of at least 70%. Taas kayo, no? So, tanaw natin siya. Then responsibility, siyempre ang responsible ani is mag-monitor the chairman, the faculty, PO assessment committee, so mag-create og faculty assessment committee, and faculty handling the key course. So kay si faculty handling the key course, siya man ang maka-provide sa data ani na particular nga indicator. Okay? Now, malimtan nila ako ganina. When do I evaluate? So maingon na ko dire nga every assessment period mag-evaluate ako. Okay, para dili ako matibo. Okay? So maingon na ko nga that's how I evaluate for this particular every program outcome. So every na ako data ako evaluaton. Kani pod sa PO na ako ingon ko 3 years after graduation mag-evaluate ko ana. Okay, but I get data. Klaro nga data makuha ko diri pero dito na ako mag-evaluate 3 years after. Then example na siya no. So every POs na siya yung mga indicators, responsibility. So kani sumpay niya mo na ning gamiton sa committee unsa evaluation nito nga result, then unsa mga recommendations. Okay? So every PO na IPI, na ay course assessment. So para aning letter C na ay upat ka buok ang gibutang. Okay? So kani letter D ay tulo, ay na upat, ali tulo, no? Even letter E na ko na ako'y 5. So nana unom gani, no? So for you ayo lang kay kuan patay lang 3 to 4 lang ako NPIs. Para dili kayo bugat, no? So letter N. So muna akong challenge karon kay example kaning letter N ako ingon ko na koy duha diri ka indicator yang subject kay life works as a result of reading in Philippine history. Kay preserve and promote Filipino historical and cultural heritage man siya nga outcome. So muna akong pamahon nga mga data kari sa nga year. So maki-communicate pa dayon ko ani sa subject nga nagtudlo ani as a professor nga nagtudlo ani nga subject sa Gen Ed kay magkuha ko ani nga data. Kay sa ilaha man ni, no? So karon ni siya kwaon nga data. So ana. So guide ni siya kay para makabaluta, basig niya mulapas na humana niya wala pa ta kag data. So ana ang atong concern. Okay? Now, that is for the program education objective and program outcomes. Next is the course level. So example lang ni siya, kay kani siya each course man ni siya kada subject man. So na ako course outcome CO1 for example, CO2, CO1 mo na ang statement sa electrical na discuss and apply mesh nodal analysis. Pasensya na kay electrical mo gud akong subject so mahiya akong ibutang. So mo na ang ILOs pud nakabutang dito sa akong syllabus. Assessment methods, may akong butang dito sa akong syllabus, na dito. Then, when, na dito sa pila, unsa nga week, offered, agi kuha, sa subject. Then, how do I evaluate? Pwede nga rubrics or student portfolio. And standards, 90% of my students have a rating of 70%. Responsibility, syempre, si faculty nga nag-handle sa subject, sa course. Okay, evaluation, etc. So, pero sa course level, every ano siya, kada subject. No? So, pwede mo na siya i-disseminate sa inyong mga faculty. Mag-create sila ani so that they can evaluate really kung na-attain ba estudyante ang targets. So, when do I evaluate? Every assessment, every after assessment period. So, mag-evaluate ang maestro. Okay, so that is the sample for the template. So I'll be providing to you this template, no? That just fill in these things dito, no? For this webinar nato karon ay mga chairman man tatanan, di ba, mga director, dili ta focus sa program. Okay? This course outcome dito ni i-disseminate mo sa imong mga faculty. Okay, nga assessment matrix plan. So kani atong PO at saka PO mo gini atong ihimuon, no? So example sa ako medyo daghan, no, kay sa electrical engineering na ako isa ka undergrad na aling ko tulo ka graduate school. So upat ka buok program. Upat ka buok plan akong buhaton. Sa ana siya, no? So Meaning dili siya nga per department isa ka buok. So if matimingan ka nga ikaw ang program head niya, upat ka program, so upat ka program plan ang gamiton for CQI. Ana siya. But it does not mean nga ikaw rin magtrabaho, you can seek help for your mga kauban nga mga sa department. So kani galing ako ang gihimo, this is not yet the final yet. Kaya ako pa rin i-discuss sa akong mga faculty. Okay? And kana. Sige. Balik ko sa akong slide. So, magpakita ko sample assessment plan na result from a school. Si TIP man go nakauna man go sila implement. Wala pa nag-set sa CHED og OBE. Na sila gihimo for OBE, si TIP, Technological Institute of the Philippines. So that's why naa sila lang mga template. So muna lang assessment plan, no? Electrical gyapon na example ha, sinsya kay ang data nga gakakuha nako, no? So example, they have their program educational objective, the 3 to 5 year after graduation. TIP electrical engineers alumni should have the following. So muna siya advance in practice, number 2, muna siya. So muna lang mga data source, no? Alumni, employer, alumni usually kay PO man siya. Methods of assessment, muna ganina. Isa ra lang ibutang alumni survey, employer survey, alumni survey. Muna siya. Length of assessment cycle every 3 years. Muna gingon naka when do you pero sa may tabo. So every 3 years. So ato lang naka-specify lang dito kung unsa gid sa nga one. Then clear po na nga sa year of data collection. Muna akong gibutang dito nga karon ana ko i-collect nakabutang ko sa academic year. So kanina dili klaro siya nga 2012, 2015, 2018 magkuha sa data. Every 3 years man. Ang gibutang. Okay? So muna na ilang sample nga result. Okay? PISA survey, no? So alumni survey, muna yung pula, employer survey, muna sa PEO 1, PEO 2, 2B. So mean rating. So target level. So kanina siya ilang target level. As you can see, silang target 60 ra. This is up to 60%. So minisobra sila sa ilang target based sa ilang survey. So ana ang ilang assessment. So based on ani nga result, kaning result sa ilang assessment, ila din i-evaluate ang program. No, whether ilan na ning evaluated. So unsa may next dayon, nana sila action plan. Unsa yung next nga buhaton for the next cycle. Whether na-attain man sa kaana sad nato atong POs. Sig ubos ra kaayo, no? So ana. So another point is for their student outcome or the program outcomes. Muna ilang mga student outcomes. At that time man god wala pa gi-define ni CHED ang muna yung student outcomes sa ilang tawag. So A to L ang ila. Then muna niya ilang identified course for assessment. Muna yung mga key course nga ilang identify. So muna siya circuits 1, circuits 2, research project, power system, muna gini ang mga key course, electrical, muna yung mga terminal courses, machines, etc. So muna yung mga key course. Ang next din ana is example, unsa nga assessment method? Mo tong kanina akong ibutang what are the assessment methods? Then assessment tools, no? Rubrics for engineering. Marang ingon ako katulang nga evaluation tools ato ibutan ako. So rubrics for electrical engineering knowledge. So muna nag-create sila to evaluate this particular nga outcome assessment. Na sila assessment tools or evaluation na ginahimo. So source of assessment for katong subject, time of data collection. Klaro no? Ang ilang klaro kayo September 2012, February 2013. Klaro kayo sa mga bulan sa mga tuig. Then responsibility, chairman, faculties, o assessment committee. So who are responsible for that? So ana ang ilahang kuan. So muna lang mga instruments, rubrics for assessment and evaluation nila. Rubrics for SO, SOA, SOB. So sa ato, rubrics for POA, POB, POC. Ana siya. So muna example sa ilang rubrics. Example, this is a rubrics for apply knowledge of mathematics, science, and engineering to solve complex problems. So, muna ilang PO, letter A. So, muna ilang performance indicator. Na dito sa ilang rubric ng performance indicator, di ba? Performance indicator, then they have their rating, satisfactory, unsatisfactory, or disciplinary. Ano ang score. Okay? So, don't worry, kay kani siya nga mga tools, dili pa natin ibuhaton karon. Okay? What we're going to do today for this session is actually the plan. Plan lang. Kanos akwa, ang data, unsang assessment ang gagamitan, plan lang. Kinsa ang responsibility. These tools, this is for the next session. Okay? So, after na mabuta nga, maghimo ko rubric. So, ang kaning rubrics ato ning buhaton dito pa sa next nga session for CQI nato. So, today, plan lang, himo tag plano. Okay? So, bisig na tingala action mo kabalaka ba nga sir, daghan ko ba kaayo to assessment nga kuan niya ang paghimo sa tools ana. So, dili pa na siya karon. Plano lang atong buhaton karon. Ato lang fill-upan nimo tong Excel. Okay? So, muna ilang result. Nasa lang result for indirect assessment. So, muna ilang gamit kay exit survey, faculty survey, student survey. Okay? So, muna ilang mga result. So, kani ilang to nga, muna ilang 60% naman ilang target, no? Ubos kayo, kato ako gibutang ngayon na kay 90%. So, ano na ko to siya. So, kani ilang nakakuha nga data. So, taas kaayo ang ilang result based sa ilang kuan. So, na-hit nila ang ilang target kung baga. So, kanisa is direct assessment. Kapag kanina indirect, kanisa is direct assessment. Kana ang ilang nakuha. So, 60% gyapon ang ilang main target. Target is 60%. The rating. So, what happened? Okay. So, I think kana lang for this session. Ako lang ibalik dito sa sa atong template, no? This will be your template, no? You just fill in these things, no? Like for example, campus, unsa nga campus? USTP-CiTL, hasaan or asa ba kabuk Claveria, no? Unsa nga college, din unsa nga department or unsa nga program. Not department actually, it's the program. Because ang program na atong buhatan og kaning assessment and evaluation plan. Okay? Then you put in your kopyahon na to ninyo, just copy your POs nga naana. Then mo na inyo i-create the indicators. 3 to 4 lang ayo na kay daghana. Okay, if you can create 3, that's good. Then, assessment methods, assessment year to be implemented, evaluation, how do you evaluate these things? Targets, unsay target nimo, then who are the responsible persons for that responsibility. Kani siya, wala na siya fill-upan ni Manny, blanco lang siya, kaya this is will be used dito sa pag-evaluate na ninyo later on, then recommendation. Then, kanila yung fill-upan nimo, when do you evaluate? Sa mga period. Same as true with the program. Magyapon ni kanilang diri A to N akong gibutang, but if you're lesser, pwede ra pud kuhaan ninyo or more dugangan. Kaning indicators, key course, guide nato, balikon nako ang inyong curriculum mapping. Okay? Balikan ninyo si curriculum mapping. Tanawa dito ang inyong key course, assessment methods, evaluation standards or targets, the responsible na put that person. Isa na siya. So, campus, college, then evaluation period. Kaning CO, course assessment, please disseminate this one to your faculty na nagtudlo karon nga mga subject. Okay? Kay sila ang mag-fill in ani. Okay? So, unsa day atong gi-require lang karon kani sa program, POs at saka kaning atong program outcomes. Okay? This one is for your faculty. Disseminate ni sa ila. Kaya sila mag-fill in siya ng mga data. Okay? So, prepared by, nagya po na siya sa ubos. Same as true with this. Prepared by, okay sa mag-prepare. Sige. I think that's all. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much, Sir Rogen. That was properly comprehensive. And now we've come to a point. If you have questions or inquiries or clarifications regarding the different steps in making the CQI plan, the assessment evaluation, you may unmute yourself and ask Sir Roger, or you can type in the chat box for questions. Yes, Sarah?
Maayong buntag sa tanan, Sir Moore. Salamat kay sa insightful nga pag-share sa evaluation nato. And I appreciate it. Na ako'y problem gamay. I don't know if it is related, but this is really bothering me. Tungod kay nakita nako ang among bitiled nga program, daghan ang subjects nga wala siya na inline sa CMO, no? And then I'm afraid nga kung mo take o board exam mga itong mga estudyante, they might miss what will be expected of them in the PRC, in the LET exam. Ang akong gusto pangutana is unsa man ang stand sa atong university, sa atong policy about revision of the curriculum. Kay ingon ka kaganina nga dapat na assay cycle nga mahuman before ta mag-assess, before nato utruhon ang mga POs baka ha, ang mga courses sa program. So unsa man ang stand ani sa university, because ang first batch ani nga program is still in the 3rd year. So mahuman sila next year pa, tapos so ang ako magong nasabtan is after mahuman ang usa ka cycle ay pa ta makausab sa atong prospectus, no, sa atong mga subjects. So sa may buhat na sir, because I'm really afraid sa effect ini unya sa licensure examination.
Okay. Yes ma'am, no? Maayo kay imong na bantayan. Kada siya, no? So okay. Okay. Sa ato gid when it comes to the curriculum revision, kailangan man kita makaisa ka cycle.
Lagi oo, I understand.
Kung makakuan kay we need again to present that one. If minor revision lang siya. Minor revision, mo nang pwede nato siya
How do please enlighten me, how do we define the minor revision? Kay tingali og kulang pa akong pagsabutan nga perspective.
Kanang minor revision, di lang ko sure sa pila ka percent ma'am ha. Naala ilang giingon nga pila ka percent sa imuhang i-change sa imuhang program. Kana siya. If that will falls through to that, masayon ra siya kaigura man siya i-present sa council.
Dili na mo agig BOR.
Di na mo agig BOR. So
sige. I will go over the
program. O di na ko makuan lang kung kuan na siya kaning example katong ito atong panghimo sa unang gi-change ang mga nomenclature etc. Those are just minor revisions, but depende man kung pila ka percent sa
agisad ba,
so it's di na ko ma-memorize kung pila ka percent.
Lagi ka, I'm afraid it's not just the nomenclature of the courses, but it's really the content of the course. No, okay. So anyway, salamat kay sa feedback, sir. I will ask tingali Vicasa and Ma'am Paulma about it. And then pero nindot kay ang imong presentation today.
Yes, thank you.
Pwede mag-bat-in?
Yes, kinsa to.
At least 24% man siguro ang changes.
Ma'am Alma no ni? Sige, sige Ma'am Al, salamat kaayo.
24% aman siguro to kay naka-change man mi sa among curriculum when I shed kay kuan good medyo kuan gyud ang among kanang curriculum kana bitong daghan kay mi og kanang mortality nga
lagi oo
50%. So mo to pagkonsulta nako sa CHED ningon man si kuan si engineer kanang raagas nga pwede man na siya ma'am for the improvement kay kung nakita na gyud ninyo ya kato dayon propose dayon ko kanang sa kuan council na ay 24 to 29 siguro to gi-compute na qualify man siya mo to naka-change gyud mi or naka-improve mi sa among curriculum after 2 years. So mo na among gi-implement
So Ma'am Al, ang 24% is referring to the number of units, no? Mao ba na tama ba ko?
Kanang mga subjects lugar nga imong gipang change. So kung mo fall ka diha, pwede pa ka kay dili magani na siya for approval sa BOR, kuan ra gani na siya for information lang.
Okay, daghang salamat.
So pwede ra dayon nimo makuan. So ang
so bisan og dili pa mahuman ang tibok cycle Ma'am Al, no? Salamat sa Ginoo.
Sige.
Okay, daghang salamat. No?
All right, thank you, Ma'am Sarah. Thank you, Ma'am Alma. Are there any other questions or clarifications for Sir Rogin? Kay maghimo na ba ito later on sa tuang mga plans? Naa pa? Ma'ams and sirs? All right. Okay. Medyo nawala ako kadali. All right. Okay, so I think more or less we're ready to craft our CQI plans. But right now, all right now we have the link of the evaluation form in the chat box. Okay, later on, please give us an honest feedback so we can further enhance our services, especially with this kind of activity. And also, may I remind you that later on this afternoon, you will be crafting your respective CQI plans. So Roger, another question. If ever
Yes,
later on without the different programs will be making their own plans, can they, if they have questions while crafting it in the afternoon, can they ask you like messenger ba ka, or like phone call or text later on?
Pwede na, ma'am. No problem, ma'am. Harapan ko diri sa office.
Okay. Okay, that's so good news. Okay, so
Yeah.
Available, no, Permanent Sir Roger for us.
Yeah.
I think also Sir Roger was very, very successful in walking us through the different major steps in crafting the OBE, no, regarding the OBE, and also he was very successful in giving us very specific examples, like kung sa gid ang makita sa plan, sa matrix. Oh, it was very clear, and thank you, Sir, sa pag-prepare sa matrix at sa plan para igo na lang yun mag-input for different programs and the different assessment and evaluation plans later on in the afternoon. Okay, so I think available na ang, what is this, evaluation link. Be honest lang, okay, good case ako. Anyway, all right, so this afternoon, after you will be making your or crafting your CQI plans, we are encouraged, okay, we are encouraged to submit it to Vicasa through the link. We will also be providing you the link where you can upload or send your plans, no? Okay. And then also this session is also recorded, and we shall be sending you the link of the recorded videos together with the evaluation link, the certificate and handouts to your emails. Also, if some of our staff are sending you some private messages, if we don't have your email or your contact number, because we don't want to leave some people behind when we send the certificates and the video and the links, diba? No one left behind, no one left behind daw yani. Okay, so all right, no other really clarifications ba? Okay, so while waiting for Amphi, can we have our virtual pictorial now? May I request everyone to open their cameras?
Ma'am Leia?
Yes, sir.
Ga-request sila sa katong kuan? Template?
Yes, sir. Sa template for
Na plan.
sa plan. Yes, ma'am. Nag-forward si Ma'am Amphi, but later on also sa email nga we send right after this, i-appeal po naman sa inyong matrix. Okay? Okay lang ba yan, Sir?
Sir Rog, I think na naman siguro i-upload si Doc Ampi. Scroll up lang. Last chat box.
Yes po. But we will add it na lang po para sure. Okay?
Lagi.
We'll add it later on sa email po.
Sige. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, Sir Roche. Napapailain ng mga concerns po. Okay, so may I request once again everybody to open their. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So I think this is really a very nice reminder for everyone, no, to make it better, to make the programs, the different programs and the different COs, POs better later on. It's siguro, it might be a tiring process kung magbalik-balik man siya, no? It's a cycle according to Sir Rogin. Pag guman, balik na punta sa one, balik na po sa assessment evaluation. But I think this will be a very, very good and excellent way to make the programs better and then the institution. Also, this is really ultimately for the students, no? For our do we have any other comments like comments for the CI or the OBE framework na share from our different heads? Aba? Sir Roger, napakay ka ng medyo additional reminder nga medyo nagdumduman siguro, no?
Wala siguro, no, when you do the workshop later on, himaman mo, no, then pwede makasik help sa inyong kauban nga faculty.
Yes pa.
Oo, okay. Medyo daghan ra ba, no? For example, sa ako daghan kay ko programs. So then importante din ang atong CQI plan will be disseminated to every faculty para aware ang faculty nga mangayo na data sa iya. And monitor siya dapat sa atong sa department chair. Okay? So, importante nga na ang plan, then properly we should monitor this one. Kasi malimtan nato nga natin data kwaon karon nga semester. Okay?
Thank you for that, Sir Roger. On the screen is the page we will be providing you, and then of course the CQI plan link where you will be submitting later on. Okay, all right. So before we move forward, may I pass the ball to our CITL head, Dr. Alfie Dinagsao.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, so mute. Paki-mute po, please. Mute, please. Sorry po. Good morning, everyone. We would like to thank Sir Rogin for that very specific, detailed, clear, and for giving us the overview of the CQI and the process. I'd like to also thank you for your understanding. Medyo nag-stretching kaganiha si Ma'am Leia, no? Because I was supposed to come after Sir Rogin, but the president was on the phone. So of course, we need to answer and to respond. And the president was talking about CQI and all that. Basically, I think that's what Sir Rogin have emphasized, or medyo naatay medyo kulang atong mga curriculum when we had our curriculum process, no. For some, I think matanggingon nato na Sir Rogin, you may review your CQI plan if you have. But I think for some, we saw na medyo it's just one paragraph of a CQI plan that was there. Wala gyud wala gyud sana kanang detailed as what a CQI plan and even the assessment tool should be. So we thank our program head for initiating this, and of course for our president for emphasizing as well, no, and the office of our VPAA. And of course our VCASAs and our BCAAs and our campus directors. With them, they really find that there's a need for this, no? Okay, we missed this in our planning for the curriculum. So this afternoon po, there's going to be a session, but this time care of deans and department chairs po, no? Kasi po ang pag-make naman ng CQI plan per academic program. So this afternoon, per academic program, we'll revisit and review their CQI plan, and if it's really, if it's really still what you wish, to do. Parang ganun. At sana naman yun talaga yung ano no, yun talaga ang CQI plan na gusto ninyo, or it was not just something na for the sake of making it part as a package of the curriculum. So we have provided a link because I think Rogen have shared every time na accreditor pangayuan yung CQI, because it is indeed part of when we are implementing a curriculum. No? And then when we are revising a curriculum, there has to be basis. That's why it's always data-based, data-driven decisions. When we wish to revise something, it has to be based on data that we gathered. So the CQI has to be very clear among all members implementing a program or academic program. So we have given, please check the presentation handout in chat section. You may download it, although we are still giving this also as a attachment every time we have a CITL webinar. We also provided a link where you will submit your CQI plan. In the CQI plan, we have a CQI plan, assessment and evaluation plan. We have given the VICASA, the VPAA, and the college deans an access to view everyone's CQI plan. No? So, okay, there. All right. Okay. So, so that would be the task for today, the CQI completed CQI plan. Our next stop, as already emphasized by Rogen, is the creation of the assessment tools. Maybe for some there has been already maybe there are programs with already an assessment tool, so you may revisit that. Again, sayang kayo kay nag-third year ng mga bata, medyo nilabay na ang first and second, and sana natin nakuha dito ng mga data, no? As what Rogen have emphasized. Say for example, for the first year course or first year subject, for a first year subject, this particular subject is a D in your curriculum map. Then you have to get the data. And what is that data? Is it a portfolio? Is it an exam? Is it a final thesis in that particular subject? So first year, abot lang, basin lang din sa inyo, no? So final plate ba kaya yan? Pwede pa man sad, no? It's not too late. Anyway, third year pa man sad. Pero kung ato gid siyang gitarong, first year pa, before we even implement the curriculum, dapat nagkuha na ta, no? And you will see a very good model for implementing such in Mapua and in other universities where they have international accreditation. And that is, of course, our goal for our university. But so we are starting the first few steps of getting that international accreditation. So the department and the program may start as soon as they are ready, or may review or revisit their assessment tools. But we will also have another webinar on creating this assessment tools po. This is not a CITL requirement, no? We are facilitating po so that you have your own CQI, but at the start, this could have been in place. But of course, since we saw na some did not have a CQI, then we will do what we can this moment, no? So, but allow me to give an invitation or to invite everyone on the upcoming activities of CITL. Or upcoming activities or initiatives. We're going to give a link to all our program heads sa CITL documents po that we find you might want to use for your program accreditation. We know that some are going through preparations for the program accreditation for AACO. So we are giving you this link. Maybe we're wishing na sana unya or sa Monday, but our target is 23 talaga. We are going to email this so that you can access this folder, all the I don't know, all the webinars, and kapang during even karon during atong face-to-face, as well as yung mga attendance. Those are important documents kasi for accreditation, and we find that this is also necessary for your area 4 faculty na accreditation required documents. So on October 26 and 27, there's going to be a designing assessments of learning webinar for the new faculty of Oroqueta, and we're also entertaining the thought that maybe some of the other deans, chairs, and campuses may wish to join or ask their new faculty to join in this 2 days webinar po, because this one is the ones requested by Oroqueta, but maybe we can invite other po. There's going to be a sharing of flexible teaching experience by our colleagues. It's also nice to hear from colleagues, no, paano po sila, ano pong ginagawa nila during this time, flexible teaching experience. So we're flashing this, but we're also finalizing their go signal, but they already gave us a heads up. So this is an invitation for you, department chairs, deans, campus directors, and also your faculty as well. No, all campuses. Let's just do a collegial sharing, no, because we're trying our very best together, surviving in this new modality. But we also have friends, colleagues in our university system who's from the observation of our colleagues, our supervisors, as well as our students, and also from their feedback, na medyo they're doing well in this area. No? Sir Ascanio will share about how he created engaging modules. Sir Giovanni will also share paano niya ginagawa yung live class sessions. Sir Bajoyo will also share on paano po niya kine-create yung video lectures niya, and then of course Ma'am Juliet on I think grading the students, no, using a different app, okay, or an app. And then for this one, for the department chairs and deans, you remember po na nakita ta last February on talking about learning continuity review program. We will do an implementation of that, no? But this time, let's talk about this. Let's just talk about it, in terms of how do we modify that. Again, this is very much linked to your CQI, but maybe let's modify na masugod lang ta sa ano, kay medyo taas mo ang ambisyon ani kay wala akong pandemic, but this time maybe let's try to modify. Baka we can start with our students na graduate na, so that they can also prepare for their board exam, because basically our strategic goal is to increase our to have a better rating than our previous, and of course of the national in the board exam. And of course October 29 and 30 for the College of Technology, because some of the instructors in the College of Technology are really teaching, it's part of their curriculum, design thinking. So we have October 29 of that. And November 20, we have the implementation of the new faculty program. And November 20 and 22 also, we're going to launch our CiTL website and newsletter. So again, thank you very much for being with us. So for this afternoon's task, kanya-kanyang platform po that you preferred, that would be facilitated by the department chair and the dean. So we have provided the link to the CQI plan. Yan po ang gagawin natin. Thank you very much. And if you have other clarifications, we can...
Yes po. Clarification lang. Ma'am? Ma'am Ampi?
Yes. Let me see ha. Wait lang ha. Yes.
Ma'am, Ako lang iklaro, this afternoon we will have a workshop man no about sa tong QCI plan. In case ako ma'am, for the saan, because we have programs that are similar sa CDO, do we need to make our own here or we will be coordinating with the chairman sa CDO for come up with one common QCI plan for that program?
It's very good in terms of clarification, and I think one of the department chairs also asked that in our chat group, Sir Ruel. No? May I suggest po, Sir Ruel, na first you create muna your own CQI plan in your campus, and then maybe we will coordinate it with the rest of the same program. Kasi po, baka you have a different context. No? You have TCM yata there, Sir Ruel, no?
Yes, ma'am. TCM,
Yeah, but
other
TCM,
other
baka
technology.
you have a different plan because your, let's say for example, your PEO or PO, you wish na talagang tatanungin nyo yung mga industry. Kasi para sa inyo, dito magigalanding ang mga bata sa industry. Maging anak. Baka din iba din ang plano sa ubang campus. So we'll see. We'll see. Baka there's a need to separate. There's a need, So just an announcement lang din po, no, na the president just called and then sabi niya talagang we will ensure na we have a good framework of the CQI. So I explained na karon sir, what we're doing is looking at our CQI kasi ang uban programs wala man gyud, no? Kasi ang CQI man gyud medyo nagsugod ni siya gyud ang katong during that time that when President Ambrosio was the PPAA. So medyo na-actually siya idea on saon ni. So anyway, yun po. So okay lang po ba yun, Sir Ruel?
Sige po ma'am, sige po ma'am.
We will facilitate din po kung paano yung same, no? Same program. I think you have the same IT, TCM, same as in Cagayan de Oro and naapod sa Oroqueta yata or Panaon yata na IT. And then Oroqueta has a BT LED, which is the same as Cagayan de Oro's. So kanya-kanya po muna ngayon, and then we will see kung sa dayon. Okay, iba-iba man po good ang responsible person, di ba Sir Roel, sa inyong campus.
Yes ma'am, po.
So murag moabot sa punto na lahi sa, but basin similar but not the same. Parang ingana. No? Salamat, Sir Roel. Yeah, the same. Dito si Christopher Balaba, dito namutana. Ito, same as your question, Sir Roel. Sige po. Napo po ba clarification? Okay po ba tayo na And maybe, so unsa po ang other concerns? Pwede pong maghatag concerns, dili kailangan question. Wala po ba yung mga saan siya deadline?
Ma'am Ams, Dennis Tarepi ni ma'am.
Sir Dennis, yes sir.
Buntag ka nang, I don't know if na-miss na ako. Mangutana lang ko ma'am, what will happen this afternoon? Kailangan pa mag-tie-in sa Zoom or?
Hindi na sir.
That's
why
ma'am.
Of deans and department chairs. So, kanya-kanyang platform po ba tayo sir?
Sige. Pwede na po ma'am.
Kay murag naman siya sir, it's helpful kung medyo by department, pero ang pangutana karon is pwede po magsugod lang sa si Dean in a group. Kaya di ba po department naman yun ang mo identify. Pwede pong mag-instruct lang po si Dean this afternoon on where to go and maybe look at the status of the program.
Okay.
Sir Dennis, no?
Yes ma'am. Pero muna tong question dahil ma'am, kung kano saan siya submit.
Kaya ang sir? Ang naman ba uban na magsugod ng program accreditation, no? By, sa ganing sunod na accreditation? Ako? I think na November.
Yes, ma'am. November, panahon.
Na November. I think sa Cagayan de Oro na agya po sa saan? Mga anak. So, unsa kaya sir, can we do this in like maybe a month And then may I also request that our department chairs will submit a formal document to BICASA, no, through your college dean. So have a trail, no, to ano. So, and of course, sana dili lang siya na papel lang siya. It is really something na we do follow, no? We do follow, okay? So that we have basis to improve our curriculum, so that we will really have a relevant curriculum. So, kuan ba ni siya overwhelming? Hinahinay lang po. But, yeah, it can be overwhelming, no? Kaya mura man good o wala na to ni siya. Wala siya CQI na supposed to be part ni siya sa katong kamulo patang sa atong ang curriculum. Okay na po ba, Sir Dennis? Salamat, Sir Dennis,
Yes,
for joining.
Yes, ma'am. Okay na, ma'am. Salamat, ma'am.
Okay po. Thank you po sa tanang deans and department chairs. We're also, our VPAE wished to be with us, but of course, na ay Mancom. So she said she wanted all even the video to, I don't know, to be sent to her. Also our BICASA and BCAA. Thank you po. So, I'm done. Ma'am Leah, thank you so much. I think there's no more clarifications.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Afi.
Okay, wait.
All right. Okay, so can we do one more round of virtual pictorial? Because kanina wala na si Ma'am Afi, no? Because she had a very important. Dili, Ma'am, kapit kulang. Okay. May I request everybody to please turn on again their cameras? Please. Sorry, Kayo. Okay, there, and then give our best smile, one of our best smile, so that CITL staff can get a screenshot. Okay. Right. Thank you, Sir Carl. Okay na po. All right. So done. I think that concludes our morning session, and medyo mag-go later on this afternoon. No? So all I can say is that thank you very much for being with us, for staying with us the whole this morning, and fighting, no, Aja, fighting for when you are doing your CQI class this morning. Have a great day, po, tanan. Bye bye.
Leah.
Salamat, Sir Rogin, ha?
Thank you,
Salamat,
ma'am.
Sir Rogen. Salamat sa
Salamat
inyo.
sa
Thank
tanan.
you po.
Salamat.
Salamat, Ma'am Sarah.
Welcome, Ma'am A.
Congrats, Sir Rogin.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
sa itong mga deans, department chairs, and everyone.